Let me switch mics. There we go. I can hear myself. Hey guys, it's Nene here from I'm Just Crafty, coming to you live from the Maker Studio. Happy Wednesday, it's hump day, and I'm here with a craft to get you over that hump. So today's project is we're going to make UV resin badge reels using shrink dink film. You guys remember back in the day, we used to make a little shrink dink projects. Well, it's definitely made a comeback. And I've used it for a little bit over a year to create badge reels. This is just an example. And what a badge reel is, this particular reel we're going to be making is for educators, teachers. And so if you have like a lanyard, and most teachers have to wear their IDs, a badge reel is just a little cutesy thing that you can use to attach to your lanyard, and then you would attach it to your ID. So this is just an example of a glitter one that I did. The real part comes because this stretches. You don't really need it to stretch unless you have like the type of ID where you need to swipe. But we are going to use this to actually just add some beads, some more decorative elements to our reel. This is an example of just a glitter reel that I did, and um, I added a little charm, or this was actually a button that I added to it, and it's just glitter on this particular reel. I have another one. This is actually done using the shrink film like we're going to do today, and I added a little glitter. This is another example of one that I created also using the shrink film. And we're going to talk about what the process looks like and how I kind of go through making these. You can also use these to make keychains, to make like pins. This is one of my favorite things to make. These are the little charms that go on your Crocs. I have on some Crocs right now, but I do not have one of my personally made charms. It's the exact same process. The only difference is the back to it. So, oops. So this is just the back that you would use. We call these little gibbets, the Croc gibbets. You can't really see it in the light. I have some. Oh, there you go. So you can see a little piece, and that is what goes through the whole of the Croc. If this were going to be a pin that you would pin on your clothing, then you would just use the pin backing. Okay. So as always, if you want to grab the supply list, we have the supply list available on our website. If you click, not click, but if you go to the makerstudio.la/freebies, inside that folder is all of the supply list that we have for our projects. The great thing about our supply list is that it has clickable links that will take you to the exact product that we use. So if you want to get the exact product, or you can shop around and find one that works better for you. So for example, where it says badge reels, if you click on the link in the PDF document, it'll pull up the badge reels that I've used or that I'm demonstrating in this live. But then you can kind of look around and compare and kind of figure out if there's a different one that you want. All right. So to go over our materials that we're going to need for this project, and I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off so we can focus on what it is we're doing. You need badge reels. Okay, so these are just three that I have used. These two are actually the same. The only difference is one is blue, one is black. These are, well, actually, I lied. The other difference is they're both clip, but this is like the, I guess what they call this, the claw clip, and this is like the slip. So this would just clip directly onto like your article of clothing, or it could clip on your lanyard string as well. These aren't necessarily my preference. I just like them because they have a true circle surface, and I use that for these two. As you can see, it works for smaller designs. Okay, my preferred one is this. It has, I don't know if this is called like a lobster claw clip, but I really like that. It's just a bit more sturdy, and it gives me just a little more surface space to work with my design. Again, it depends on what your design is going to be. So this one was just a glitter um, reel, and I liked it because it allowed me to show a lot of the glitter because that was the focus of it. So these are just a couple of types. There's a few other types that are out there. Again, when you click on the link and it takes you to the Amazon item, Amazon always shows you other suggestions, so you can look at those. Okay, you're going to need printable shrink film. Let me grab, I forgot to grab mine, so I'm going to grab those. I will say the printable shrink film is a little bit harder to find, uh, meaning they don't have like a wide variety. I believe it may come in two different things. This one is actually a white background that I use. Okay. It's by Graphics, and it's not very cheap. So you definitely don't want to make a lot of mistakes when you are creating this project. Be mindful, and you want to maximize the space. So we'll talk about that. But make sure that this one is printable. It'll print in your inkjet printer. Okay, this is just the regular shrink film. It is transparent, it's clear, it is not printable. But with this film, you can paint on it, color on it, you can use markers, color pencils. If you want to freehand a design, this is great. Okay? This is a lot less expensive and you get a lot more. This is, I think, a 50 pack here. Whereas I think when I ordered the printable one, it may have only been like 20 or 25 in a pack. Okay, so you'll see that. Obviously, you'll need an inkjet printer for this particular project that I'm doing, but you may want to freehand them. Again, you can use the other one. You'll need some type of cookie sheet because you do have to bake these. I have this cookie sheet that came with my oven, and I'll show you that in just a minute. You'll need scissors unless you're going to be using your personal cutting machine. I used my Cricut. You can also use a Silhouette. You'll just use the print and cut feature on that to get your designs. Or you could have easily, these designs are pretty easy where I could have just cut it out. I could have just printed it and then just cut it out with my scissors by hand. You'll need some sandpaper, rubbing alcohol. Of course, these are just things that you use for a lot of your craft projects. Assorted beads. Okay, so I've just kind of picked out some beads that are going to match what it is that I'm doing. Um, the lanyard is optional. Again, these reels have the string built in that we're going to use for our beads, so that's fine. Of course, you'll need our dynamic duo or otherwise just some UV resin and a UV light. Okay, so I'm going to use my resin and my torch lamp. And then you'll need your SVG files. I actually got these files from Design Bundles. And so when you download this supply list and you click on the link, it'll take you to, I believe it should take you to the Design Bundles file. If not, leave me a comment and I'll make sure that I give you directly to the Design Bundles. Okay, so some other things that you'll need, again, if you're going to mass produce these, meaning you're going to make a lot of them, you don't want to stand there and just hold this torch light for each one. Then you may want some kind of UV lamp box. So I've got my UV box here. A toaster oven. We're going to look at the toaster oven. I can give you a sneak peek actually. Let me see. Turn on this camera. Okay, so I have a little mini Black & Decker. I think I paid probably 20 bucks for this toaster oven. Um, you can use your regular oven. It's totally safe to do so, but I would just use a dedicated cookie sheet, meaning don't use a cookie sheet to do these and then turn around and use that same cookie sheet to like make cookies. Okay, so make sure you mark somehow on your cookie sheet that this is for my craft projects. I'm using a Cricut Maker. Again, you can use a Silhouette or you can just use scissors and cut everything out. Design space, and then if you really want to maximize like getting a ton of SVGs or PNG files for sublimation, or free font or font not free fonts, then I left the link down for a Design Bundles Plus membership. I think that's where I got these. And it's really cool. So this is a supply list for everyone. Now, if you want to try this project, but you don't want to go out and buy all these supplies just to try it, then you can go ahead and grab one of our project kits. This is our UV resin badge reel kit. And in this kit, it has everything that you need to make two badge reels. Okay, so if you remember things we talked about, you get one of each of the badge reels. You get the circular one, and then you'll get the oval one. So you can try two different ones. You'll get your dynamic dual, so you'll get your UV resin and you'll get your torch light. You just got to add your batteries. Okay. You get some beads and some charms that you can use on your badge. Of course, you're going to get your alcohol prep wipes. You get some acrylic paint and you get some glitter. You get your finger cot, some sandpaper, a paintbrush, and you're going to get some sample designs. think you'll get 2 or 3 of already pre-cut, pre-printed. So you don't have to worry about going out and buying shrink film. It's already going to be printed and cut for you in the different designs. All you'll have to do is just bake it and then go ahead and start getting crafty. You will also receive 2 sample sheets of the non-printable shrink. So if you have your own design that you may want to draw, you can use some Sharpies or whatever. You get some of these to experiment with as well. So everything that you will need to create 2 badge reels, as well as leftover supplies and materials. If you decide that this is something you want to get more into, you'll have some leftover items as well. All right, so now that we have talked about the materials, let's get to crafting. Let me turn off the graphics so that you can see as much of my screen as possible. All right, guys, so I have already designed and print and cut my shrink film. For this particular project, I use Cricut Design Space, but you also can use Silhouette, or like I said, just print off some images um, from the internet and just hand cut them. So this is what it looks like once you have print and cut it. Okay, so these are 2 different sizes. Keep in mind that when you go ahead and put it in the oven, it is going to shrink down to about half its size. So I did some already, and I'm going to turn the oven on so that it can be heating up so I can actually show you guys that process. But I'm going to show you some that I've already baked. Okay, so this one, this was the size that this started off at. Yeah. So as you can see, it shrunk maybe a little bit more than half the size, but it does go down significantly. Here's a better one, this coffee one. Okay, this is the size that it started. This is the size that it ended once it shrunk down. The other thing you want to be mindful of is, if you can see, the color kind of changes. I mean, it may be hard to see because of the glare from the light, but you can see it in this one. Like, this was more of like a powder blue, and then when it shrunk, it came out green. So a little bit like sublimation, how sublimation, when you print it, the colors come out a little bit dull at first, but once you go ahead and bake them, the colors become just a little bit more vibrant. So you want to keep that in mind as you are making them. This is flimsy. You can see that, but once it bakes, it go ahead and it is thick, very thick and sturdy, but it can crack or break in half. Okay, so that's just a couple of things. It does it pretty fast. I am going to put it in my toaster oven at 400 degrees. And then there's no set time. You will actually see it. You'll know when it's done. Okay, so I'm going to move these out the way. And let's do. And I always like to have like a cork or a cooling rack so that once it's done, I can kind of take it out and let it cool off. Don't forget it. You're dealing with hot things. You want to make sure that you have your heat gloves. So let me go ahead and turn on that camera where my oven is. Let me turn this one off for a second so we can see. So yeah, you can see that gets pretty warm. And let me raise it up just a little bit so you can watch it shrink. Let me see, how is that for you? And this is really cool. This is a project that you can do with younger kids. Of course, you will control the oven element, but they'll get really excited as they get to watch it shrink. All right, so I'm going to just go ahead and put that in there, and then you'll get to watch it do what it do. Can you see? Oh, let me see. Let me try to get you guys a good view. There we go. So as you can see, it's curling up. Don't worry about it. It's going to do its thing. You don't have to do anything. Just kind of let it finish. It'll flip back. And you'll know when it's done when it's kind of laid flat. It may not be 100% flat, but at least it's down enough where then you can just kind of go in and flatten it. Okay, so that seems like that may be okay. I'm going to put on my gloves. And I'm going to just pull it out and set it on top. And I've got my little cooling. See, can y'all see? Yeah. And then all I do, I like to take my little spatula tool from my Cricut, put it on my cork, and just kind of help make sure that it's 100% flat. Same thing here. Put it on my cork and just kind of flatten it a little bit. And then just let that cool. I'm going to turn this off because I've already done all the other ones. And because I do these, I mass produce them, I have that dedicated oven. It was, like I said, it was like 20 bucks. So let's come back overhead. That part is just super simple and kids get a kick out of it. I'll just kind of let it cool for a little bit. We have all these that we're going to work with over here. Let me just turn this off. Save my battery. Okay. Okay, so these are done. These are not. So I'm going to just set these to the side. I chose this design because I know the special education team are some amazing people that often don't get the recognition that they deserve. And so I was like, let me shout them out. Here are some other ones that I did. Keeping in mind that, again, the design is going to shrink down about 50%. So, imagine these were a lot bigger when I cut them out. And I made some of these to do to make like to crock charms or like pins and stuff. This was my Bitmoji. And that'd be cool to walk around with a crock with your own face. One thing you need to notice, and I still haven't figured out like how to best do this, is even if you cut out a perfect circle, it's going to change the shape. So like this was a perfect circle when I cut it out, but it kind of warped a little bit. I have not figured out like how or why or how to get it that way. But just know that if you do a perfect circle design, it's not gonna end up that way. So as you can see, my basketball looks pretty warped. All right. So get those out of the way. So we have these reels. I'm gonna just grab some acrylic paint. I forgot to do that for myself, but you guys get it in the kit. I like to put acrylic paint on the base if I'm gonna do a glitter reel. Okay, so like this is glitter, and I put white on the base so that it helped to make the blue glitter pop out. That's totally optional. You don't have to. You could just kind of go with what you want to do. But I'm going to do one that's going to be glitter, and then I'm going to add some of these charms to them. I like to shop in the button aisles at like my craft store because they have some really cute buttons that can be used for multiple purposes. So these are just like some crayon buttons that I could just clip the back off. And there's just a bunch of other stuff. There's a little apple, some pencils, a couple of different pencils here. I see green, red. What is this? Oh, a glue stick. You know, if you had a bus driver you wanted to gift one to, you can use that. And this has all the subjects paper. So I made you like a paper and a pencil. You guys know I'm an art teacher. This is a pencil sharpener. That's cute. Maybe I can do these on top of a glitter one. That might be cute. Okay, so we'll do these on glitter. There's also a ruler. Okay. And then I've got the beads that I'm going to do on the other one, Badgeril. So we're going to do this. We'll do one with these so you can see. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. I got to do my sped squad. Teaching sped is my jam. No, I think that's cute too. You can do, or you can even do the coffee one. So as you can see, like this bigger one is really good for larger designs, and then this one could be good for smaller designs as well. So we're going to do this one here. The coffee could also go on this one too. Yeah, I'll do that one for coffee. Okay, remember it's upside down because this goes down toward the bottom. That's where their badge hangs. Okay, so we're going to do this one for here. I'm going to do a glitter one for here, and then I really like, I'll do this one with a glitter background. I'll do a fine glitter background for that one. Okay, so let's get all these out the way now that we kind of have our plan of action. And if you have any questions, you guys go ahead and pop them in. Hey, Antoinette. Welcome to the live. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to do is I'm going to just get some sandpaper and I'm going to just scuff it up a little bit so that my acrylic paint is going to stick better. And I'm just getting a piece of sandpaper, and only because it seems like it has a slight coating on it. Okay. And just want the paint to kind of stick. Nothing intensive. Have that, and then I'm going to just clean it with my alcohol. Okay, so now that we've got it clean, I'm going to just grab my paintbrush and just give it a light coat. Let me see, do I need to, I'm trying to think if I need to do, for the coffee one, I may not do, yeah, I'm not going to do paint on that because I just like the black on the black background. Oh no, actually we said coffee's going to go here, or do we want it to go here? Actually, I like this better. So I don't need to paint this one, and I don't need to paint the coffee one. So I'm just going to paint the one where the glitter is going, and I'm going to paint that first so it can be drying while I'm doing the other ones. And it's just a basic coat of acrylic paint. I'm going to slide the camera down a little bit. If you want to tape off the edges, you can, but that simple. Okay, you don't have to do anything fancy. It's just giving it a little base. Rinse this. Okay, so we're going to set that to the side to dry. And while that is drying, I'm going to show you guys just the basic concept for this. Okay, remember that this is the bottom. trying to think which one is going to let me do these beads. We may not be able to do the beads on these reels now that I'm looking at them, because I don't see where I can thread it back in there. We'll come to that later. Okay, so this is really simple. I am just going to make sure you guys can see first of all. And I'm going to just take my UV resin. I'm going to apply a generous amount around the edge, because if you can see, this kind of has like an indentation. It indents down. And if I only put resin there, it may not reach or do a really strong hold. So I'm going to make sure that I'm getting it on the edge. And then I can go ahead and fill in the inside. But for sure, getting a generous amount on the edge. Okay. And then once you get it on there, and you get it where you want it positioned, you're going to take the back side and you'll go ahead and cure it with the light. Okay. Now, because both of these are like opaque, it's going to take a little bit longer, and you just want to get it so that it has the basic bond. So I'm kind of holding it at an angle. And it's, oops, I moved it. See, I thought it was stuck, but I moved it. And make sure that you keep it straight, like that's the bottom. And keep in mind that it's not 100% secure yet. So then what I will do is just one side at a time is go in and just add some more around the edge, a little at a time. And then I'll just we call this just a flash cure, a quick cure. This is kind of like building a fence around it. And just take your time and do it. And you're just going to do that all the way around on both sides. Okay, and so you see how like there's a little gap between the shrink think and the badge reel. So that's where you want to secure that gap. Just a little bit. Because if this gets wet, you don't want water to get in there, and then water will kind of help to break that bond, and that's what you don't want to happen. Don't worry about if it spills on the front, because I'm actually going to add a layer of UV resin on the front part as well. Some people don't do that. They may like the matte kind of rugged look, I like my stuff to just be glossy. Okay, so now we've got that part. So this is rough, and all I'm going to do is start in the center and just kind of work my way out. And it's almost like I'm creating like a bubble layer over top. You may get some micro bubbles. So here's where you can use your lighter to pop them. Of course, I didn't bring a lighter over here. Or if they won't bother you, don't worry about it. I have my torch. Don't say lighter. On this kind of project, like the micro bubbles don't necessarily bother me. Okay, so then I'm just going to flash cure it. And after you flash cure it for about 30 to 60 seconds, you can set it outdoors or set it in direct sunlight. It doesn't have to be outdoors. You can set it in a windowsill, anywhere where there is direct sunlight, and let it fully cure. Or if you have your UV resin lamp or box, like I have, then I'm just going to set it inside my box and turn it on for about 2 minutes and let it do its thing. And while that one does its thing, it's the exact same process for this one. Okay, because it's all like a level surface, all I need to do is just get a nice amount, keeping in mind that it's only going to really cure on the edges for now, because again, you've got to get that those UV rays to go through it. So I'm going to just hold it down and I'm going to flash cure. Yes, the nail lamps will work to flash cure. Absolutely. I have several in here. And that's actually what I started with was nail lamps. I would use those nail lamps when I very first made my glitter pens. And then I was like, I really like this. So I graduated to a couple more fancy tools. But yeah, I've got different sizes. This one I found online. I can't remember. I don't remember which one I linked to, but this is a 24-watt nail lamp. So it's got quite a few of the lamps here, and it stands up. So I could even turn that on. Well, it's not plugged up, but turn it on and have it set underneath it. And then I'm going to do the same thing and just squeeze some down underneath it. Do a section at a time because you don't want it to get drippy and messy. And flash cure that. And then you would continue to do it on the other sides all the way around. Put your layer on the top and then go ahead and set it out in the direct raise for your full cure. Let's play with some glitter. Okay, so now for this one, remember I said I used buttons. So the buttons have those little loops on the back. So I just have like some kind of, I don't even know what this, I think these are wire cutters. You can probably use a good pair of scissors to kind of snip them off as well. I'll snip it off and then I'll sand it down a little bit with my Dremel. If you buy the project kit, they're already sanded down if there's a charm in there, so you don't have to worry about that. Is it just those pencil ruler? Yeah, the ruler didn't have anything. Where's my Dremel? And if you don't have a electric drill, you can just use sandpaper, which sandpaper is included. But I just want to get, because even though I snipped it, it still has like a little edge, and I'm gonna need it to kind of be fleshed down. All right. So now that I got those, let me wipe them off with a little spritz of alcohol just so there's no debris when we go to, where's the other one? There it is. All right. So now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my glitter. I got my little glitter tray. And for this, I think I'm just going to use, I have this Maker Flow glitter in opal ice. This was actually gifted to us in our Pinners swag bag from when I went to Pinners Con a few weeks ago. So it's just the same thing. I'm going to just take a really light layer. And this is actually chunky glitter. You can use fine glitter or chunky glitter, it doesn't matter. See, it's not even open. Brand new. Because this is a mix, actually. Yeah, it says color shifting mix. Let me shake it up a little bit because sometimes the fine glitter isn't mixed up good. And I want a good distribution. Yeah, that's pretty. So you can add as much or as little glitter that you desire. Just keep in mind that the more chunky glitter that you use, the more rough the surface is going to be. Okay, and then I'm going to just go ahead and flash cure that. Hey, Shayna. Yeah, these badge reels are a lot of fun to make. It just has a lot of little, well, not a lot of little steps, but it does have a lot of steps. From the designing of the item to printing and cutting in your Cricut. Then you have to bake it in your oven. And then you get to put everything together. Okay, so I just want to make sure that the glitter is adhered, and it is. And then I'm going to apply just a thin layer. It doesn't have to be super thick because you're still going to add some more stuff to it. But this is just to make sure that your glitter is locked in place. Especially if you pile that glitter on, you for sure want to make sure that you've got a good coverage. So I'm going to just kind of gently smooth it out to make sure I've hit all the areas. And then I'm going to go ahead and cure this. And I'm going to just do a quick 30-second cure because I'm still going to now add all my pieces. Okay. So it's still a little tacky to the touch, which is fine. Set that there. Move this stuff out the way. And now I need to figure out, how do I want to arrange everything? I've got this little notebook, a piece of paper, a pencil. I've got a ruler. And I can layer these items as well. So let me do that because I want the notebook to go down first. So let me go ahead and put that down. And I'm going to put it on the notebook so I can make sure that I get good coverage. I feel like I need to bring you guys closer down, but my Archon. Let me see if I change. There's a wide view, narrow view. Let me see. Digital lens, linear. Let's see what linear does. Oh, that just took you further away. Okay, let's go back to narrow. Okay, so that is there. Good. Now, if I want, where do I want this ruler to go? Kind of like that. I still have my pencil sharpener, my pencil. Or I might just do my, yep, I'm gonna do it like that. So let's do the ruler next. And again, these are all just flash cures. It still has to fully cure, but I'm also going to, because there's a lot of pieces to this, I am going to go back in and put resin underneath there as well to really make sure that it is secured so there won't be any gaps. Okay, so let me do my pencil next. And I'm going to get the light kind of from the side or like underneath the bottom. Just so it holds it in place. Yep. Okay. And then last but not least is my pencil sharpener that I'm gonna kind of put down here at the bottom. You can get really creative with these reels and like the little button pieces. Or if you want to make your own stuff, I could totally have cut out a ruler, a pencil, a notebook paper, and this out of my shrink think as individual pieces, and then I could have assembled them as well. So you don't have to just go and do, all that. So all I'm going to do now is actually I'm going to let this cure for a little bit longer to make sure that it is secure, the bases are secure. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to just fill in everywhere that there is a space. As you can see, those spaces is layers to it right there. I'm going to fill in all that with my resin as well. So I'm going to pull this one out. That feels really nice. And you'll know when it's fully cured when it just feels like gloss, kind of like a glassy feel. So now that this is out, the last thing that I'm going to do is just go around the edges because the edges are very rough. And again, they can still chip. So just kind of a little bit at a time. And just kind of wipe off if any spills over the front. It's okay if it spills over the back. And then just kind of flash cure that too. And this is just going to make my edges be as smooth as the front. And just flip it to the side and the same thing all the way around on all four sides. Flash cured that. You could also, at this point, we're going to do this last side. But if you wanted to just do a little bit of glitter on the top, you could do a layer of resin with like a little bit of fine glitter. It's your choice. Okay. And then just one final Very light layer over the top. Flash cure it. And then you let it set out for your full cure. If it's like outdoors, direct sunlight, or like even in a windowsill, it'll be fully cured in like 2 to 5 minutes. If it's indirect sunlight, meaning the sun is not shining through the window or it's not indoors, then just let it sit there for a while. Or if you have a box, it'll be done in like 2 minutes. All right, so yeah, these are all locked in very securely. Again, all I'm going to do now is just kind of go in and add some resin around this to secure that part, and then this will be done. All right, guys, so hopefully you learned a new technique. I know I didn't show you every single step because that literally would take a long time, but you saw the prep work that I did with the print and cut, and I was able to show you what the baking process looks like, and then how to use the shrink ink, or you can use just elements, or you could have just done glitter, or you can do glitter with maybe you cut out the person's name as well on there. So if this is something that looks very interesting, you want to try it, but you're not sure you want to invest in all these materials, don't forget you can head over to our website and you can grab the supply list, or you can grab the project kit that has everything in it that you will need to create your own badge rails. This particular one is Halloween themed. It's got some purple and orange beads and some purple and orange glitter. I'm probably going to make that next week in time for Halloween. If you want to learn the full on process, you can also check out one of our virtual workshops. If you purchase the kit, you get to come to the virtual workshop for free. And in that workshop, we go through step by step together how to create your own badge rails. So, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And I hope to see you inside the studio soon.